And welcome back to the Engage 8 podcast. A little bit of a different setup here today, trying out something new, and we're going to continue to rock with it because, that's what we just do around here. We're looking to make improvements each episode
Yes,
and,
sir.
continue to not only make your knowledge better about college football and our opinions, but also we're trying to give a better visual display, and we're trying to just make every episode better for you
And it looks
listeners.
so much better. I hope you guys can appreciate this as much as we are, because
Yeah, I mean, I was looking around with, I was just messing around with it earlier because like me and Robby talked about this and we're like, we need to try out StreamYard. And me and Robby are both, we have lives, so we're like,
we'll do it this week. Oh,
no,
2 weeks
we'll,
later.
we'll try it next.
Yeah.
But no, and then I mean, I was on I'm calling a game for a local team for our local radio station 93.5 WHMI. If you are in the local Metro Detroit area, make sure you take a listen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna be next to the Squatch. I think I need to make my name Noah's Ark. Shout out Dan Leach. He's
Shout out Dan
awesome,
Leach, for real.
Awesome guy.
Yeah, bro, it's gonna be a crazy week for both of us. I'm going up to TC to cover a high school football game, and then covering a pregame show.
We're
for
technically
97 won the ticket.
Yeah,
for Michigan State. Dude,
it's a bit. Yeah, and I'm also doing a wiffle ball game tomorrow too.
Yeah, bro. Like,
so,
we're grinding, man.
Dude, we'll make sure to be promoting a bunch of stuff that we both do, and we're gonna try to look for more promotions for our brand as well, because this is something that I think me and Robby both feel like we can take off and
we
this
got the content, man. We got the personalities. We got the content. We know people now.
Yeah. So
sky's the limit, man.
Yeah,
and we're upgrading. Look at this. I mean,
yeah,
this is already better. All
right, let's jump straight into the college football business of everything. Washington, Oregon. The result from Saturday, game of the week, might be game of the year up there with the Red River Showdown.
Yeah.
This is a lot of people are criticizing Dan Lanning on Twitter and all social media platforms, every talking heads. I think honestly, like, I don't regret, or if I were him, I wouldn't regret the decisions that I made. You made those decisions because that's just how your team has been all year, even with you not playing, a level of a team of Washington's caliber, which you might be able to face them again if you complete your schedule throughout the Pac-12, which they could. It's definitely harder than their first half of their schedule, but it's possible. They are still a really good football team and put a lot on display for everyone to see. And I think Washington's just, we've said it all season, man. We think that they're a really good team. You have that stinker against Arizona, but Arizona is looking like a top 10 team right now, the way they've been playing. Right. So, I mean, you look at that Washington State result and you're like, oh, and we'll get into the Fafita hype later. He might be the Engage 8 player that we talk about. But no, seriously, like, both these quarterbacks played really good. I think Bo Nix, like, he played to the highest level that he could. And
he played to the highest level he's played on the road in his entire career.
Well, not just that. I don't personally, like, my assessment of Bo Nix is I've never really thought he's been that good of the quarterback. And even when he was getting Heisman and draft hype, I'm like, yeah, he's probably going to raise your floor, but what ceiling do you get with the quarterback of his caliber?
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this team's really good at the skilled with James Irving and Franklin being all studs. And, he's still, like, there was a curl route, I think, like, in the red zone. I remember he just threw it at his ankles, and, like, he's just not the quarterback that, I mean, at home he'll make clutch plays, but in the big moments against these bigger teams and even neutral sites, like, it's
been the tail story of his career.
He's
won some big games at Auburn.
And
did he beat Alabama? Did he beat Alabama?
No, he took him to, like, literally, it was a 14-7 game when Alabama.
Who did he beat though? He beat Georgia.
Freshman year, it might have been, like, you're looking like
he beat someone huge, and everyone. It was his freshman year. It was that
year.
Yeah,
but I mean, if you look at him, like, at his career at Auburn, which Auburn I think would be so much better with him because they are a struggle bus right now. They had one good game against Georgia that they gave everything, and they've just been disappointing every other game of their season. I mean, it's whatever. I mean, Auburn's not really a relevant topic to be talking about. But no, I think honestly that there's levels. Bo Nix is good. Michael Penix is elite, and I think
Yeah,
they're
like S tier of S tier.
yeah, like I think Bo Nix, he's a B to A tier good college quarterback. Michael Penix is going to be a
And
first round pick.
Bo Nix is a result. He's a product of his experience. Nobody
Right.
has the experience he has. He's literally played every year that he's been in college
It was
football. Like
what?
he's never
That
sat.
was his 54th start of his career.
Yeah,
Like
like dude,
he's a no,
there's
like and he's a good quarterback. He knows what to do in game situations. It's
right.
just sometimes his talent cannot execute it
Right.
to the
So
best of
it's
his
almost
ability.
like it's expected. Like, hey,
Yeah.
like you have this entire offense set up for you. Like literally, they set him up perfectly. Oh, and let's put on to the fact that you have 6 years of experience. You should be dominating college football,
Yeah.
and he's not. But he's
And
doing it. He's
I mean,
hanging.
Washington lost like one of their very key starters on defense in that game too. Tuipa Fatui, who's been really solid for his career at Washington as
Mm-hmm.
well, and he goes down in that game.
That's the corner, right?
No, he's a
Oh no, but
he
they
is
did lose a corner too,
they
or
they
maybe
lost yeah,
yeah.
I think they
There were
did
so
lose it.
many injuries, dude.
Yeah, I mean it was an injury riddled weekend. So
For both
and,
sports, for both
yeah,
pro and
yeah.
college.
But no, like I just think Washington has more firepower on offense, and they're I think their defense showed that they're a lot better. I mean, I talked about Washington, you know, over the summer, late summer, like a couple weeks before the season even started, and like I was genuinely impressed by like how pretty like I don't think they're an elite defense, but I think they got the players.
Mm-hmm.
They got players that can get it done, and I
Yeah.
think they play collectively enough to where they can do some things. They didn't generate any turnovers, but they played on a down to down basis, and
Mm-hmm.
they played clutch defense. Like Dan Lanning's making those calls. You're relying on your players if you're the Washington staff to come up and make those plays for you, and that's what they did, and they got it
Yeah.
done.
Absolutely. Dude, Washington is this team. The only question mark I have at this point in the season, it does come defensively because now we look at this team and we're like, okay, this team's going to the playoffs.
Right.
They are going to survive. We saw USC is so exposed. Caleb Williams is human. Like
Right. And
they're
I
going
mean,
to survive,
the
right?
only team that like honestly scares me is Oregon State because when they
Yes,
want to
yes.
play at a very high level, they do, and
They're
they
so
only
they're
like
so good.
that game against UCLA, phenomenal. Like
Oh yeah,
one of the
dude.
best,
Classics.
like
That's a Pac-12 classic, man.
yeah.
So,
And
but keep going.
but no, just to finish up my like thoughts on this game, like I do believe these are the two best teams in the Pac-12. That
Absolutely.
like it literally came down to a missed field goal by Oregon special teams, and
Right.
that's the name of the game, man. Like
Right.
it was a very good battle on the field, very good by both coaching staffs,
Yeah.
and like
Neither one of
yeah,
these teams deserved to
and
go any lower than the ranking they were already
yeah, and
sitting.
Oregon only dropped what one spot in the AP
Yeah.
poll,
And you had to because there's undefeated teams.
right?
Which
Yeah,
is
and that's literally
just
it. Like
whatever.
that,
Whatever.
like they're going to be in the college football playoff rankings when they come out, and we'll probably do reaction shows to the college football playoff
Yeah.
rankings because we're both gonna watch and be like, oh, what the hell is the committee doing? And then come on here and
and
it'll
rip
be
them apart.
it won't be our hour-long episodes, guys. Don't worry.
No,
But,
don't worry.
but no.
But yeah, man, these are the two best teams in the Pac-12. That is said perfectly, and you hit on everything I wanted to touch on. Plus, I mean, I might just add because we can't talk about this enough. Penix, if there was any doubt if this kid could perform on the big stage, man, like shut up, please.
Yeah, please.
Him and
like,
Odunze are here to literally win a ring. Like it's not about a Pac-12 championship anymore. These kids look determined
yeah,
to win a
and
natty.
like Odunze, like if he keeps playing at the level he is, sorry Marvin Harrison, sorry Keon
Dude,
Coleman, sorry
yes.
Luther Burden,
Yes.
sorry to every single other receiver that's going to be
Like,
up
this
for
kid's coming for the
consideration.
Blinkatoff.
Yeah, like seriously, like
it's unbelievable. But so, like I was saying, my struggle comes defensively, and in terms of defensively, the Pac-12 plays a very pass-heavy style of offense. All of them do. When you face a team, I fully expect this team to probably, if they get in, be a 4 seed. I would assume
it depends. Like obviously it depends how the other field plays, but like
either way, if they're a 3 seed, and we'll get into who we think, because I think what just transpired in terms of injury report could change the 1 and 2 seed.
Right.
However, they come in as a 3 seed. I see this team playing Michigan. Let's just put it that way. I think this team somehow is going to run into Michigan. And the thing about Michigan is they beat you so differently. And can their defense sustain the boxing match? This isn't a freaking UFC fight. This is a boxing match. You got to go 20 rounds with this team.
Right. Yeah. Like this game, like you're trying to throw both these teams are trying to throw knockout punch after knockout punch. And Michigan, like they're playing the long game and
their exact strategy. I mean, I'm obviously not a coach on the staff, but you look at a team and an offense like Washington, and you're like, you know how you win this game? Not only do you demoralize them with the power of your defense, but you just keep Michael Penix off the field by possession, winning the possession match. Yes, that does put the pressure. You have to convert and score on every drive almost. But if you can keep that guy off and limit him to maybe 20% less possessions or 30% less possessions, that's how you beat a team like this. Can their defense sustain that? Can their defense come up with the timely stops? I'm not saying that they can't. That's my concern when we talk about this team.
And that's definitely – I mean, you won't know the answer to that question until the opportunity arises. Exactly. But I think, Bucky Irving did what he needed to do in that game, but they never allowed really any explosives in the running game, which I was very surprised. I think, like I said, I think this defense has some dudes, and I think collectively that they're gonna be fine.
We're talking about this team in the playoff now. This is the level they're at.
No, we were talking about it before, but now,
absolutely,
now
it's
the general
real.
media. Okay,
exactly.
No, seriously, every team, all the media people, oh, Caleb Williams, is he going to win the Heisman?
He's not. He might not even make it to New York.
I wouldn't put him there. USC is that.
Dude.
They enter the hard part of their schedule, man. They seriously do not have and you look at his performance last week against Arizona. The dude couldn't throw the ball through the air.
And now he's not only not throwing the ball through the air, he's turning the ball over.
Yeah,
he's putting the pressure on the worst part of the team.
Yeah, and USC's defense didn't even play bad. They literally we'll get into this game, but actually, you know what? Let's just get into it right now. Okay, so Notre Dame, USC, 48-20 victory for Notre Dame. This game was literally Caleb Williams and the offensive staff and every player on offense's fault. They can't block. Caleb also freaking wants to hold the ball too quick, and he's
I have such an interesting question to bring up and point to bring up, but I finish your thoughts because it's
my thing is that this isn't going to really affect him at this level because he might not just play the rest of the year. If they go 9,
if they're out of playoff contention, out of Pac-12 contention, sit down and just
if they lose another game, if they lose a game or two in conference, and which is very possible with how they've been playing lately. Let's pull up their schedule real quick. They play. I'm trying to get to it, but no, seriously, he has not performed to the level that he played at last year. Nope. They have Utah, which Utah is going to freaking absolutely beat the brakes off that offensive line. And Caleb Williams is not going to be able to hold the ball. And who knows, maybe Cam Rising comes back. They'll play Cal. They should beat. But if they lose to Utah and lose to Washington, he's not going to want to get hurt against Oregon or UCLA.
No.
Yeah, and they're not going to be playing in a Pac-12 championship, and they're going to be playing in the freaking Cheez-It Bowl or whatever freaking garbage.
Yeah, dude, he's not. First of all, he's not playing in that. And second of all, it's just dude. Well, yeah. After a performance like that, go to the NFL. Just go. Your draft stock.
My question is when he gets to that level, every single Caleb Williams clip or highlight has been him dancing around, moving around, making some incredible off-platform throw. And I mean, he's very comparable to Patrick Mahomes. That's been his comparison, all throughout.
He's the combination of Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. But once again,
you have not seen him play in a quick this is Bo Nix, he could be a starter in the NFL, and he could be someone of Kirk Cousins' caliber because of the high football IQ, able to make quick, instinctive
Yeah,
decisions. I haven't never seen Caleb Williams make an instinctive decision
no,
like
and
ever.
it's interesting that you bring that up because, in my opinion, and the way I look at it, I'm like, dude, honestly, yeah, sure. Like Patrick Mahomes, what he's doing is generational, and what Josh Allen is doing is slightly generational.
But
But
those guys
they're
are also
figured out.
yeah,
Like look at the seasons they're having. I'm sorry, dude, they're not playing good
yeah.
because eventually you figure this out.
Well,
Long time to come in the league. Dude,
Patrick
here's
Mahomes
how.
doesn't have any. I think Patrick Mahomes doesn't have any receivers. Like I don't think it's
Yeah, but he's also not Patrick
yeah. No,
Mahomes.
he's not playing at the level that he's
Like,
been
dude,
at.
Patrick Mahomes is. We're talking a guy who's literally winning Super Bowls. Caleb Williams is yet to play in the biggest stage. Granted, yes, Patrick Mahomes did not. But look at every big stage he won on. When has
Yeah,
Caleb Williams won a big football game? And I'll get
yeah.
into that point, and that's what's going to lead into this point. But all this thrown aside, he is, yes, he's not instinctive, and I think he's a little immature. Not immature in terms of his like attitude, but just not matured enough, which is why I think he should take his 4th year if he doesn't this season doesn't blow up, because there's still things to prove, man. The NFL is full of guys that are all equally as talented as take the best defensive player he's ever played in his 3-year career, dude, and times it by 1,000,000, and that's the defense he's going to face every single
Well,
week,
and it's
man.
also just like you look at any single level of football, like it's always going to be a different pace,
Right.
different
And
pace.
this is the worst receiving core he's ever had, and he's playing his worst season. There's that out there. Like, you've been playing with NFL receivers your entire career. Jordan Addison, Marvin Mims. Didn't he play? He played with. He didn't play with CD, did he? No.
No, he didn't play with CD. But it still shouldn't matter. Like he's still going to be playing with pro receivers. Like Mario Williams is going to be an
Williams,
NFL.
yeah.
Mario Williams is going to be an NFL player. Brendan Rice should be an NFL player, and
Yeah,
Zachariah Branch is going to be. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's playing with like crappy talent.
No.
And he's got a really good running back too, in Marshawn Lloyd.
100%. I'm just saying that like you put slightly lesser talent, not as developed talent. Let's put it that way. Those kids are all going to develop into great things, but they're just not as developed. And you're seeing flaws. But the point I want to get to is so the blame has always been, right? The defensive coordinators for Lincoln Riley's football teams have all been the reason why, hey, we can't win the playoff game. But when does it become Lincoln Riley's fault? Look, the lack of development. You have had Jalen Hurts, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and now Caleb Williams. Every one of them has won a Heisman Trophy but Jalen Hurts, right?
Right.
Those kids are all capable of winning national championships.
Right.
Jalen Hurts did at Alabama. And then he goes to that system, and all of a sudden they can't win a big game. And besides Hurts, because I truly think Hurts was the most NFL ready out of all of them, but they're really not even playing that well in the NFL. And it's just, you wonder, how unprepared are these guys? Is Lincoln Riley beginning to become the guy to blame for the lack of winning and the lack of production, I should say, maybe NFL readiness for some of his guys, for some of his top tier talent? Because you can't give him the credit for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts developed under Nick Saban and then essentially played his grad year at Oklahoma because Tua Tagovailoa, another guy who's might win an MVP one day, took over. Like, there's nothing he can do about that. Lincoln Riley, you do not get the credit for that because Jalen Hurts is playing at the same level at Alabama that he played at Oklahoma. And look at him. He's the most NFL ready guy. He's killing it.
Yeah, I mean, Baker's obviously doing pretty well in the NFL. He has his on and off stints, but
yeah.
And then we don't know about we don't know about Kyler because man loves to play Call of Duty more than he loves the game of football.
Yeah, right.
Dion would go crazy.
But what do you think? You think Lincoln Riley deserves some blame here?
Yeah, no, I think it is like so like when you are the head, so look at a business, for example. You have your CEO and then you have your, vice presidents, all that. And then you have your employees and the lessers and lessers and lessers of the corporate, cycle or
absolutely,
I guess, corporate tree. all your blame should go back to that freaking CEO because
Yes.
he is the person that's giving those people's those jobs, and he should be taking the blame for it because it's not like it's been a one-time thing. It's been a consistent problem for him over the years, and there's a
Yes.
reason why they're not the most successful
Yes.
football team with all the talent and all the hype and all the attention that they get, and
Right.
they don't come out on top ever.
No, like this team hasn't even
Look
got
at what
scratched the surface of winning a
and
college
look at
football
what
playoff game.
okay, and look at what Venables has done with that Oklahoma team. That
Right.
everyone on that team
And
that
he's
Lincoln Riley had basically left. All the recruits decommitted, and he has turned in that. And you got to give him for first year. Like Dylan Gabriel got hurt. Like there was really no team identity. Like
dude.
kids,
When does a first year guy, especially a first year head coach, just come in and dominate college football? It
yeah.
doesn't happen.
I mean, the only guy that has done that is Sonny Dykes.
Right. Exactly.
And that was because literally, like, he
You were
had
just, dude.
that was just luck of the draw. You had the
You got
talent
hot at the
there.
right time, is what I'd
Yeah.
give it to.
Yeah. Like
You
it's like
got really hot at the right time.
it's like a Loyola Chicago in March Madness.
Yeah, there you go.
You just get hot at the right time. Like, and I mean, and look at TCU now. Like they lost all the talent. Like they had a lot of guys go to the draft, and that was a really talented team. But look at them now. Like they're not a sustainable program, and Oklahoma is, and they still can't get it. They haven't been to a national champion. Lincoln Riley has never been to a national championship game.
And dude, he's literally had
A
Heisman
lot of
quarterback after Heisman quarterback, number one overall draft pick after number one overall draft pick. Not even that. Let's keep going. Oh yeah. How many guys did you send to the NFL in running backs? How many guys did you send to the NFL in wide receivers?
offensive
Tight ends, Mark
tackles.
Andrews.
Yeah.
Like,
Offensive
exactly.
lineman. Like,
dude,
and I mean,
it's
like
just,
he's had the defensive players there too. It's not like they
yeah.
haven't had talent there. They just something's wrong and something
He's the blame.
yeah.
I'm telling you.
And there's talented kids on that USC team as well.
Right.
So
like Corey Foreman might walk out of USC and go dominate somewhere. Dominate.
right.
That kid was one of the highest recruited high school athletes of all time. Isn't getting used there.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but there's one common theme here, and that is Lincoln Riley. Look at Jim Knowles leave. I get it. He now is starting to redeem himself. He leaves though. He doesn't have the knowledge. His first year at Ohio State. This is a guy that you go back to the whole thing. You're the one giving these guys the job. How is this guy attaining another defensive coordinator job after what he did at at Oklahoma? You're like,
I thought he coached at Oklahoma State.
No, Knowles, I swore, was under Lincoln Riley.
Let's see if
this might be the stupidest moment of my life. I swore though.
Jim Knowles coaching history. All right, you're
oh
seeing.
Oh my gosh, it was Oklahoma State.
I was gonna say because Oklahoma State, like I remember, but I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Wow.
Bad take.
Take it back. But anyways, just hasn't had a history of great defensive coordinators. And once again, the guy he brings, let's just move it to this guy he brings to USC. He's done nothing different. Yeah. That's literally kind of like, it's insane thinking, because the definition of insanity, right, is, expecting the same result out of trusting something is going to happen the definition of insanity is expecting a different outcome out of the same product, right? Like this thing is going to do something else, even though it's proved time and time again that it's not.
Yeah. Shout out to Robby recovering on it.
Yeah. But once again, this guy not only is not hiring the right people around him defensively,
well,
he is not being the leader.
And this is a huge problem when it comes to people with success and that make the wrong decisions. It's because they have a bunch of yes men around them. Like, yes, keep doing this. Right. Yes, please keep doing this.
Somebody criticize him. Somebody tell him he's doing something wrong.
Right.
And that someone that actually matters to him, that he's actually going to take that to heart.
Right. And the boosters, they're not going to if your team's staying at the same level or getting worse, they're not going to support you whatsoever. And Lincoln Riley will probably never be on the hot seat because he's a great offensive mind and is one of the best recruiters and puts talent
Yeah.
he gets kids to the league, and offensive players, they're gonna want that. So,
Right.
but it doesn't matter. Like in
And
terms of his college football success and what legacy he wants to leave, he's not gonna leave much because he doesn't do anything when it matters.
no, and this is all circling back to just this game right here. 48-20 against Notre Dame. This is a big rivalry game. Not only did you get embarrassed, but here we are again. Like, you're not going to compete. You've just wasted another quarterback. Yes, the other ones got to the actual playoff, but once again, it was never a ball game even once the ball was kicked off with 15 minutes on the first quarter clock. Never has they been in any sort of competition, and you just did it again. You might have just wasted the entire career of one of the greatest college football quarterbacks to ever play the game.
Yeah.
And you wonder, these USC loyal fans or these just Caleb Williams enthusiasts, why is USC dropping every week? I promise you, the Associated Press knows just as much as we know, and it's just as blatantly obvious. You're just somehow blinded by the fact that Lincoln Riley is this god coach and that Caleb Williams is, I'm not saying, I do believe he's one of the best, but he's not having the year. He started declining, and the Associated Press saw it and just like, yeah, how are they going to recover? They're not. They're not. It's going to fall in its
what are they going to win? And I mean, like, they didn't even play bad on the defensive side against Notre Dame. Notre Dame didn't have much total yards, but they beat them on turnovers and special teams.
You cannot expect your defense on a short leash. First of all, short leash, but also short possessions, man. Like,
not just that. No rest time. You can't expect your defense to do anything when it hasn't done anything for you all season.
Right. And then now you
and they showed up. I mean, yes, Notre Dame put 48 points on them, but that 48 points is a little bit of an outlier to really how good those guys played. Yeah. And I mean, who knows? Maybe Notre Dame, like, they weren't driving the field on USC. I think they had one scoring drive.
You win the turnover battle, dude, you're going to win every football game. Like 95%.
Yeah, there is
really good defenses that can, but that once again,
that's not USC. That is not USC.
Nope.
Like, yes, I think Notre Dame was the better team, and they came out with the victory. Like, I thought that going into this matchup after
they were favored for a reason.
Yeah,
but I just didn't think it'd end like that.
Yeah, like that.
That was so embarrassing, dude.
4 touchdowns, 4. When you're supposed to be a top 10 team. Being in the Pac-12.
You have the best freaking player in college football, man. Best player.
All right, we'll get into who I think is the best college football player. Drake May. UNC gets a 41-31 victory. Drake May, plays his butt off, does everything right.
This kid plays so good.
And he's got all his weapons back. Look at him, man.
It's dangerous. It's scary.
Like, okay, Drake May, yes, he's going to need a little bit of talent around him, but that's just because of how he plays, and he takes a lot of risks, and he loves throwing the ball down the field and into tight windows. Like, he needs receivers to make those plays. But guess what? He puts the ball in the perfect position for a guy like Tez Walker. Like,
he does.
And Drake, like, I mean, yes, he's not he didn't play the most accurately. And I think part of that is like how really good is North Carolina's offensive line. Of course, they did run the ball like extremely well. Right. So, but I mean, seriously though, like this kid, I believe should be the top quarterback going into, watch the tape, man. And like he can get it done like on big stages. Like,
yeah.
You look at the South Carolina game, obviously, South Carolina is not the team that we thought they were going to be, but like that was a big spotlight game. And guess what? He got it done. He got it done against Miami. And yes, you did catch Miami on a bad terms, like with everything going on there.
Bad
but like,
terms.
But like, I mean, because Louisville probably not making it anymore, sadly, unless Florida State slips up, which
who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? But no, I mean, they got Georgia Tech, Campbell, Duke, which will Leonard be back? I don't know. Although Duke's defense is like seriously like one of the top defenses in the country at this point. And then Clemson and North Carolina State, which both those games are away. So they could definitely have a slip up. I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know, but like watching this team play all season, I've been the biggest Drake May fan. Like, I literally made a highlight video on Drake May winning Heisman, and he could. Like, if
absolutely could.
He's going, I think, like, genuinely, if he keeps playing at the level he's been ever since he's gotten players coming back, and he had a little bit of a rough start after the South Carolina game, but he's coming back, man. He's got a really supportive run game too with Amarion Hampton. Like this offense is good, and the defense is like playing good.
We've said
Genuinely
that.
good.
We said
Yeah.
that when they played. Who was that? What was that game?
It was
that
South
the U.S. Yeah, it was Carolina. We're like, okay, like this defense is really good. I mean, it helped when South Carolina has one of the worst offensive lines and they get 9 sacks, but
I mean,
we were like, you still got to perform, right? And they have, and they've continued to.
And I mean, yes, Miami scored on them. Miami's got like I think they got one of the best passing games. Even Van Dyke's threw 2 interceptions, and I still thought he played a really good game.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
31 for 48, 391, 4 touchdowns. Like,
it's
how much other quarterbacks are doing that at Miami. And I mean, the receiver, they're also a very good receiving core too. And I mean, they just had 4 turnovers, and if you can generate turnovers and you can put together stops, like you're going to win games. And that's what just North Carolina is doing. Like, I don't think their defense is elite, but they're doing enough. They got guys and they're making plays. And that's all you can really ask for of a defense, especially a team that might be just as talented, if not a little bit more talented to you compared to your defense. You ask them to step up, and they did.
Absolutely. I take back I've kind of bashed Drake May on this show, and I'm not gonna lie to you, Drake. I take full responsibility for being wrong. You've proved me wrong, and I think here's the coolest part. You survived those long, hard weeks without your guys, but you stayed silent. First of all, that is I commend.
And it's not like he
so
played like the worst quarterback ever, but he just did not.
He was the guy that's like, hey, you're going right after Caleb. Like, it's you and Caleb, best guys in the country. And we weren't seeing that, but they survived. They stayed unbeaten. And now he's got his guys, and it's like, wow, this team's so scary.
Yeah.
You want to talk about getting hot at the right time? This is it.
Yeah.
You got your guys, and not only did you get them back,
and
you're all on the same page.
And they're all getting better every single time they play too.
Dude, Tez Walker, dude. Like imagine if this kid played all year.
Like, there's serious consideration for if this team continues to perform the way they do. Like, do we talk about them being in the college football playoff?
Yes, because they could beat Florida State, who's the ACC representative as of right now.
And Florida State, I mean, hell of a game against Syracuse. Like, very good job. Like, that's something I wanted. I think if they want to be a top 4 team, they got to keep doing that every week.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I expect from Florida State, because I do really think they're a good football team. So,
but watching Drake with these guys, man, just the way this offense looks, like I cannot wait for them. Jordan Travis to go freaking back and forth, man.
Yeah, and I mean, the only thing that concerns me is that they're like, I think Duke could legitimately catch them. Like, I think they'll give Drake May problems. And then I don't know how to feel about Clemson or NC State. I feel like Clemson's going to quit by the end of the season, because they just do not look like the team. They just, like, they gave Florida State
the same level.
Yeah, they gave Florida State
even playing field.
They gave Florida State a run for their money. And then, I mean, they beat Syracuse, but then you struggle against Wake Forest, which they're not going to probably be a bowl team this year. And then now you got to go play at Miami, which Miami fans might show up for that game. Who knows?
Maybe.
And then you play NC State, and then which NC State's going to give you problems too. And like, I think they're like, you're playing at NC State at Carter Finley. Like, they for whatever reason love to just play their hearts out when they play there. And then you play Notre Dame, which Notre Dame, we thought they might quit against USC, but they got a lot of life left on them still, even after that game. And they're going to want to punish Cade Klubnik and that team. And then you play Georgia Tech, which whatever. I think that like Miami game's a complete fluke. And then UNC and South Carolina, like this team might quit. Like they might be on quit watch.
Dude, it's very true. It's so true.
Like they should not be getting AP votes, dude. Like
no.
And they're only doing that because
just it's constant. We won 2 national titles, or we've been national titles.
We've been good for the last decade. Like, congrats.
You're not good, dude. Yeah. Trevor Lawrence is good. Deshaun Watson was good. Shut up.
Yeah,
like that's it. Like Dabo Swinney. You want to talk about a guy who might be a fraud? Dabo.
Yeah, he might be a product of the quarterback.
Look at the receivers he had. T. Higgins is unbelievable in the NFL. Sammy Watkins. And then you had Deshaun and you had Trevor Lawrence, who are generational quarterbacks. Like
And
doing,
Travis Etienne too. Like, let's not forget about that
yeah,
kid either.
please not. Yeah,
And you
exactly.
got a lot of guys on defense too. Like,
And then look at the other kid who had the potential to be great in the NFL, but was great in college. Help me. Justin
Taj,
Ross.
oh, Justin Ross, yeah.
Like you had very, very elite level college football players. And then you get another 5-star. Don't even give me like, oh, we didn't get another good quarterback recruit. DJ was beyond highly recruited, and the
And
entire
he's
thing
playing,
crumbles.
and
And
he's
look
still
at him
playing.
at Oregon
Yeah.
State. Like that is a
And
very good
Cade, like,
quarterback
I
that you
think
wasted.
Cade's still relatively good, even with like his statistical performances not
No,
being the
it's
greatest.
the system. It's
Yeah.
the system. Trevor Lawrence proves that he's not a system quarterback because he can beat out the system.
Yeah.
But
All right.
that's enough of my rant on the past.
Let's get into the AP top 25. So what is your initial thoughts looking at this poll? Where is it grinding your gears?
All right, let me just get this thing up. So here's where it grinds my gears. How I get it, okay. They won 63-0, whatever. They haven't, shown any sort of signs that they might be a fraud. How is Texas and Oregon below Penn State? That's my first one. How? If you can answer that question and make me somewhat believe it, props to you, man, because they don't deserve that. They don't deserve that.
Yeah,
Second of all,
I mean, you look at the scoring margins, yeah, but if you watch Penn State, like that Northwestern game, fluky, Illinois game, very fluky. Like it took Luke Altmaier throwing what, four interceptions for you
yeah,
to put up
yeah,
30 points, and
but
you
Oregon and Texas have literally for maybe not
they played
Texas.
down to the wire with two teams that are ranked above Penn State, and they proved that like on a
Dude,
neutral site field, and they're probably both going to play each other again in their conference championships if
exactly,
everything goes according to their script. Like
exactly.
they're going to have a chance to prove themselves, and they might beat them, and it might really mess up the committee. But
Yeah,
seriously, like, and I get it, Penn State, like, I get the voters' perspective because but here's the thing. Like, I get, like, yeah, like, I see the world where they, like, are like, yeah, we'll put Penn State above those teams because they're undefeated and blah, blah, blah. And why
I
not
just
rank them lower? And then if they beat Ohio State, like, it's not like you're not projecting where they're going to be when you're doing your poll. You're
no. This
projecting
is
what,
right now.
yeah,
This is right now.
like you're projecting resume, power ratings, and like
And
if you watch the games, which I feel like some of these AP voters don't,
yeah.
you should look at what they're producing on the field as well. And like Texas and Oregon have looked so much better than Penn
Yeah, and
State
that's
this
not
year.
an argument against Michigan for everyone that wants to, come out and say, "Oh, well, then Michigan should." No, they've literally dominated every single opponent. They're
They've
not even
had
playing. They're playing red shirts. They're playing guys that literally don't play all the fourth quarter. That's the only reason why they're not putting up 70. If they wanted to, and they really said, "Hey, let's go get freaking
McCarthy 500 passing yards
McCarthy.
with
Let's go get
like,
McCarthy the Heisman. Let's go get Roman the Blinkatoff and freaking Corum the Doak Walker Award. Oh, and get our Joe Moore Award offensive line, the third title, and this, that, and the other thing. They could if they really wanted to. But Corum said it today in a press conference. I would love to run for 200 yards a game. I would love to carry the ball 20 times. All I care about is winning. So therefore, if it makes me have to carry the ball 10 times, sure, whatever. It's all that team cares about, and they're still dominating.
right.
Back
And
to what I was
that's
saying.
also okay, but that's also why like they're such a good team because they all just want
Right.
to win
It's
and they all
bought
want
in.
to
It's
do
culture, man. It's
yeah.
freaking, it's legendary. It's sick. And Harbaugh just said that too. He's like, anybody would dream to have the culture that we have right now. But back to the whole Penn State argument. I don't see the hype. I see a good defense. I see an offensive line that has big holes. I see a running back that's playing actually pretty well. But I don't see this Drew Aller being something like unbelievable. I see a kid that's very immature, actually. He looks kind of hesitant, I would say. He's had his moments, but and listen, all of this right now could either come to fruition or it could literally be silenced like that when they play Ohio State in the
Right.
shoe. And
And
I'm looking forward to it.
it's the battle of two quarterbacks that are being, severely questioned, like by
Yes.
everyone,
Yes.
especially me. Like I think McCord's like if you watch Ohio State play any game, like it's those receivers making plays, and he had one good drive in one game. And I'm not saying he's a bad quarterback. I'm saying he's not to the level that you need to be if you're Ohio State at this very moment. Like you
I'm
need
sorry,
your
dude. I'm sorry you had to succeed Justin Fields and CJ Stroud. I'm sorry. But at the same time, that's what's expected now because they have been recruiting at that level for a long time. And you're just not meeting it, dude. And there's not been much that's changed inside that, personnel room that would make you, be some anomaly that, has to take a longer time to develop.
right. And I mean, say
you have better receivers than they've ever had.
Yeah. And I mean, like, Fields, Stroud, Haskins, like all those guys made it work. And I mean, yes, there's NFL receivers on those teams. Don't get it twisted. But like,
maybe I'll take those words back. But Marvin Harrison's better than
they never like in terms of like how they've played in college. Like maybe like Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson were both really good college players. I still don't. I think Marvin Harrison's just playing on another level compared to any other receiver. Yeah, like
he's got a different athletic genes than anyone.
Well, I mean, he's the son of a football Hall of Famer, like one of the greatest receivers.
High 4.2, man, and he's 6'3", and he's gonna jump out the gym and
like
he's jacked. Just, like, dude, do you understand how jacked this guy? Like, he's a freaking athletic specimen, genetic specimen. Like, this kid's insane.
If his last name wasn't Harrison, I might think he's like one of Karl Malone's like lost kids.
Yeah, exactly. But here's our point. This kid's unfreaking believable, and he's, in terms of stats, not the best receiver in the country because of his quarterback.
Yeah,
like CJ Stroud was feeding this man.
Like you give Drake Maye, Marvin Harrison, like he's going for 3,000 yards, dude.
Dude, I don't even want to picture that, especially as a Michigan fan.
If
that's in a Buckeye uniform, you can put them in the blue. Sweet. Put them in that baby blue in Chapel Hill, man. Go win. Go win an ACC championship. Don't do it in the shoe. Don't do it in the freaking scarlet red. Please. That's a nightmare.
Yeah. But no, like seriously, like, and I mean, I don't know. Like, I do think McCord, like, I think he could, like, I watched that, drive against Notre Dame. And I mean, there's times where he does make like really good throws. And I'm like really impressed. Like I watched that game versus Maryland. Like he had some nice throws down the sideline. I watched that game against Purdue. Like he has the flash, but he just does not have it's like kind of the opposite of Bo Nix. He doesn't have the consistency, but he has the flash. And Bo Nix has the consistency, but he's not the greatest when it comes to flash. Yeah. So
a lot of people like to make the comparison to like, oh, Kyle McCord looks like kind of like they like to say that McCord and Aller right now look like what JJ did last year. And I would say I agree in some aspects, but the thing about McCord that he does not have that Aller and McCarthy do is there's no athleticism with McCord.
Yeah, no, like
he's
cannot
not escaping the rushes at an elite level.
Devin Brown fumbled it one time, and players make mistakes, but dude, that red zone offense looked phenomenal when Devin Brown was in the game, and that Devin Brown can zip it too. Like when you're going, I mean, they're gonna leave McCord as their starter for the rest of the year. Like that's fine, but is it kind of like the McNamara?
Yes. In some ways, in a less dramatized way, it is because you have the.
Will he be going into next season? Like, is it going to be Devin Brown or is it going to be McCord? Which was a legitimate question coming into this season.
I don't think so.
But no, like I'm saying, like there was already talks about McCord or Brown. I legitimately believe if Brown didn't get hurt during spring and leading into the season, he would win the job because he would have more opportunity to prove himself and realize
just like if Cade never won the Big Ten or didn't save the season in 2020 that because he saved Harbaug's job. Harbaugh's like, hey man, I got to pay you back.
Yeah,
got to pay you back.
Yeah,
but other than the Penn State being above Texas and Oregon, honestly, I don't have a problem with this. I think Utah's a little high. But I do think that there's talent there. I don't think they deserve to be above Notre Dame after what Notre Dame has done. But other than that, I don't got much of a problem. I mean, if you want to walk into the realm of others receiving votes, and the fact that Clemson's receiving votes is just
Florida too. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
this is my only comment I'll make about Florida. This is the only comment that deserves to be made. Graham Mertz, congratulations, son. You did it. You proved yourself.
He's going to be a day 2, day 3 pick, probably.
You're good. and you're going to make one heck of a backup quarterback in the NFL. Maybe you get your shot, but you're going to make one heck of a backup quarterback. You're going to make a lot of money doing it, dude. You're making a lot of money doing it.
Yeah.
Congratulations to you. You survived.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad North Carolina's in the top 10 above Bama. Like, that's
so glad.
I think you can put Oregon State above Bama. Like, Bama did not look good against Arkansas. Like, they almost had the Michigan State. They almost had the Colorado. They almost had the Colorado or Boise State. Like, they almost blew it.
How about KJ Jefferson literally throwing a grown man off of
him? That's literally like a zombie walking team. Like, they are just not like, they don't care that much. And they have KJ, they have some guys, but like majority of that team,
no talent.
Like, and they almost like they do this and they do it every year. Like, if you look at every single Alabama team, like I remember, like you bring up that Bo Nix game, like 14-7 against like that team and 14-7 against LSU. Like, they just love to play around with competition. Like, we say Georgia does it, but Alabama has pretty much always done it.
That's where they got it from. That's where Georgia got it from, man.
Yeah.
But when you're as talented as those teams have been,
but Alabama, like, they're playing Tennessee and then they're playing LSU. And yes, you have both games at home, but like their only loss was at home.
I wouldn't want to play Jaden Daniels at home. I'm sorry. I wouldn't let him come in there. Not after what he did last year. He's got your number, dude.
Yeah.
Brian Kelly's got your number. That's not a good thing because Brian Kelly's.
And I mean, they'll finish out the season easy with Kentucky, who's not a good team, Chattanooga, which is an FCS team, and then Auburn, which Auburn, they love to give a little. They love playing for the big game. We saw that with Georgia, but I mean, yeah. Other than that, like I think everything else, like I like Ole Miss at 13. If they could play consistent, they'd be a top 10 team, but they just don't. Utah at 14, like,
yeah, I'm not entirely upset with this. Iowa is so weird that it's there, but like you can't not put them there.
They're winning games, man. Like, you cannot hate. I'm glad Air Force is ranked because they
goodness. Tulane deserves it too.
Honestly, I thought Louisville was going to drop out of the top 25 after
No, they're 6-1, man. It's a tough loss, but you can't discredit what
dude. And every other ACC team is like, yes, thank you for letting Pitt beat you because we don't have to worry about the Narduzzi special against us. So
exactly, he gets a one pass, he gets one ticket.
And I mean, you look at their games though. Like, I mean, they play close to Cincinnati. They play close with West Virginia, and I mean, they have back-to-back games where they don't. But like, we knew like something was coming, and like
for sure,
just whatever. And I mean, I don't know. Like, you definitely they have an off week this week, and then they're gonna prep for Duke with Leonard maybe or maybe not coming back. I don't know. But glad Tulane's ranked. They lost to an Ole Miss team barely by having a backup quarterback. And then I think, UCLA still deserves to be there. UCLA, talk about a team that can't, dude. Yeah, talk about a team that can't play consistently on a down-to-down basis.
No. That's a freshman quarterback thing, though, man.
You're
a freshman quarterback in the best conference in football.
Yeah, like, I mean, they're just, it's a weird, like, gap year from having, DTR being your quarterback for literally like a century, and then having Dante Moore come in. And I mean, as long as he stays, man, they'll be a good team.
They will be. He's a good quarterback, and he's going to do big things wherever he, takes his talents, or not takes his talents, but wherever he decides to be home. Because there's always the question, especially with that kid. He committed and decommitted a lot. He was like to make headlines for just throwing out crazy stuff. Oh, I'm going to go to state, whatever. So there's that possibility with a guy like that. Nothing wrong with it, though, man. If you're talented and you can go and win, go do it.
Yeah,
kept your team in the top 25 most of the season. So
yeah, and I mean,
shout out to you.
He's been playing decent. So okay, next order of business. How concerned are we about Brock Bowers in that injury? In terms of how is this going to affect? Yeah, in terms of Georgia, and not just that, like. I mean, yes, we do care about the guy's health too. We're not we're not dickheads here.
No, of course.
So not. It's a 4 to 6 week injury because of the surgery. So he'll probably not play against not against Florida, not against Mizzou.
Listen, here's where I'm just gonna go. The elephant's in the room. Brock Bowers is out 4 to 6 weeks and he's having surgery. Okay. Brock Bowers is going to be the first tight end taken off. He's going to become a Travis Kelce-like player in the NFL. This kid is unbelievable at the game of football. And I'm sorry, but he's got 2 suckers sitting on his fingers right now.
And he
What does
gets
this guy have to prove?
well, not
Nothing.
just that, and he could get 3. Like he could
Yeah,
get 3 by sitting on the bench.
They
too.
still can win, right?
Right, yeah.
And the paycheck is still going to come with his NIL and whatever. But this kid's thinking about, I know he is, especially because of the circumstances that he's in at Georgia, where he's won the rings and he's been the biggest player on the teams that have won the rings. Which brings me to the point that I don't think we see Brock Bowers the rest of the season. I think he's done. I don't think he comes back, and I think he sits this thing out and gets himself ready for the NFL, because if he re-injures that thing, it's really going to tank it. We're going to see some Jake Butt type stuff, and I really don't want to see that for a kid like that. I want to see this kid play on Sundays. I want to see him dominate. So then to transition into, okay, so Brock Bowers is done, right? Let's say if that scenario happens, how does this look for Georgia? Well, if you were asking me this question last year, I would have said, who cares? If you were asking me this question 2 years ago, who cares? But this is not the same team. We saw it. If Brock Bowers got hurt a week ago or 2 weeks ago or whenever they played Auburn, they literally lose against Auburn.
Yeah.
And the whole playoff picture is ruined. It's the type of impact he has on this team. He's the type of impact that he has on Carson Beck as a passer. He's the guy he goes to get in rhythm. And without that, yeah, Ladd McConkey can play, but have you seen the laundry list of injuries that this team is going through? This team is one of the worst injury reports in college football, and that's not good because the depth is starting to dwindle on this team. There's a lot of young guys with a lot of potential, but to play on the stage of college football that they're going to have to play on and to, uphold the expectation that Georgia has, I think this team is about to run into a wall.
Yeah, and I mean, they play like these next 4 games, like they could get caught slipping, and it might not be pretty. Like Florida, say what you want about them for whatever reason, like when they want to play at their highest level, like they look like a top 25 team.
Mertz is rolling, dude.
And the sad thing is they don't do that all the time. Missouri, good football team. I don't know how they would play against them. I think Brady Cook, like he's starting to look like come back down to earth a little bit. 2022 version of them. You got Ole Miss and Tennessee, like. Both those teams are going to be hungry and looking to sneak an upset too.
Yeah. Here's what this does, though. This is the thing with Brock Bowers. You don't say they're unbeatable because no team is unbeatable. However, when you talk about Missouri, maybe they can't beat them. Ole Miss, and like there's just question marks, right? What this does is it gives a grain of hope to those teams, and you give teams hope. You say, hey, there's a chance. That's what sparks play that we haven't seen out of these guys maybe in a couple weeks because their seasons are over. That's what sparks upsets, is that little grain of salt type hope that, oh my gosh, we could knock this team off. And who doesn't want to be the team that spoils this run? Like, if you're not playing for anything else, why not spoil one of the best runs we've seen since Alabama in college football? Like, to be able to say, yeah, we're the reason why they didn't win the SEC championship. We're the reason why they didn't go to the playoff. We're the reason why they didn't three-peat. Even just to kill the winning streak.
Yeah, and
that's an honor every coach wants to have.
Like, if Tennessee or Ole Miss beats them, like, and they go to the SEC championship potentially, like, you never know. Like, it's a bunch of crazy scenarios. And, I mean, like, the fact that a tight end affects, like, the success of your team by, like, a drastic margin, like –
Man.
Like we're gonna go with like if you look at the spread, like they're probably gonna get like 2 points knocked off every game. Like no other tight end.
No.
Not since probably like what Kyle Pitts or Michael Mayer.
In college football, no. Yeah. Like pros, we're seeing this at the level of Gronkowski and Kelsey. Like this guy
is the
deserves to be in this
category.
Yeah. He is in that category.
So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously Georgia's got the talent. It's just how do they utilize it? And it's really a big test for Carson Beck. Like, hey, your top guy's out. You're going to be.
What do you do? Yeah. How do you get in rhythm? Because that is this guy. He needs to get into that flow. Like Brady, whenever he was out of his flow, it's let's dink and dunk to Edelman. Let's dink and dunk to Welker.
Yeah, and I mean, like McConkey loved it. McConkey and loved it. Like are guys that I genuinely believe, like, they might be able to play in the pros. They might.
Yeah, Lemonet's definitely. And McConkey, honestly, actually kind of fits the prototype NFL receiver nowadays that's really succeeding. That
Yeah.
smaller,
So,
undersized guy who's hard, he's tough, he's got hands,
yeah, and
great route runner.
Yeah. He is Travis Hunter, but with just a little bit less of everything.
Okay. Okay.
All
Don't
right. Next is Iowa going to win the Big Ten West?
Yes. See, this pains me to say because as a Michigan fan, it's like I fully expect us to be an Indy, right? And coming into this, it's like, what a way for JJ to go out and beat the guy who, that was always he was getting compared to.
He's not gonna probably play Cade though.
No, he's not. That's the problem. That's why I'm saying this is sad because they are going to make it. Because I was like, oh no, they're not going to make it. And then that whole conversation can happen because Cade, like, dude, he got hurt and he's not even going to play in this game, but they're still going to be in the game. Like, let Wisconsin play.
Hey,
man.
Deacon Hill is the I heard a stat.
He's actually pretty good. I think he's going to be
okay. He's good for an Iowa quarterback in the terms of like the college football landscape. No, he's not.
No, but that's what I'm saying. He's like Big Ten West quarterback. Great.
Yeah,
you're good. Like,
and I don't know. Iowa's just a treat to watch every single time. I thought Wisconsin, might be, and I mean Mordecai goes down, so like that definitely didn't help. But no. I mean, like, dude. Listen, he threw for 6 for 14 for 37 yards, and they still won the game. Hey, they threw it to some receivers though.
He did. Here's what I gotta say, man.
I'm pretty sure Eric Hall went down though in this game. So
probably. I don't even pay attention. I am so excited for the Big Ten to get rid of these gosh darn divisions, man.
It wouldn't matter next year because I mean the 4 Pac-12 teams that are joining are relatively okay. 2 of them are relatively elite, but
okay, that would have added to the West. I'm sick and tired of watching Northwestern, Iowa, Illinois, Purdue,
Minnesota.
Like, get these teams out of here, bro. The Big Ten championship game literally is played in either the Shoe or the freaking Big House on November, in like the last weekend of November. That's when the Big Ten championship is played. It's not played in Indy.
I heard this, and we shouted out before. Shout out to the Cover 3 podcast. What would Fox do to have they're just the 2 East teams that are better than everyone like play again? Like,
dude, I wonder that. It's what brings a crazy narrative to the fact that like Michigan and Ohio State literally could play 3 times in a season now. That's so weird. It's so weird. I mean, we saw it for a long time with Georgia and Alabama, but it's like I don't know if I like that. Now that it's like my team, it's like even just I don't like the thought of that with any teams.
But especially
play 3 times.
You're not going to it's most likely you're not going to beat them all 3 times either.
Dude, no. It's just like that. The undefeated season is going to go away after next year. Like, you go 12-0 with the brackets that you're going to have to go through, man.
Yeah.
You're unbelievable.
Yeah.
You got an unbelievable squad.
Yeah. Okay. I just wanted to ask that question.
Yeah, it's a great question.
Who is your under the radar team that is maybe not playing as good as their record, but
this is such a good question.
And I think I'm
going to let you go first.
Because Arizona. So ever since Noah Fafita has been the starting quarterback for Arizona, they've been like good. Like you look at they play against Washington and Arizona and get them to the final drive of how good is USC? I don't know, but they're still a top 25 caliber team. And you look at them in a power rating standpoint, like they're still a really good team.
Yes.
And then they go and freaking blow off the doors of Washington State.
Dude, like beat them so bad.
And I mean, yes, they're not like Washington State. Like they're not a fluky team, but like you don't know what you're going to get on a week to week basis. That's just kind of always been Washington State and how they've been because of the style they play. And Fafita, like if he's in that Washington State system with those receivers and that offensive system,
yes,
like you're looking at like generational numbers, and he's still putting up. He didn't throw for a touchdown in this game, but 34 for 43, 342 yards. Like that's elite. And I mean,
yes,
like the receivers he has, like he doesn't have a Dorian Singer. Like they're not elite. And this poses my question going into the next thing. And I'll put the ticker up. What QBs might be looking to transfer? Because
So yeah, this is an even better
I
question.
think if you're Alabama right now, you might be giving this guy a call. If you're
Oh, dude, I think everyone's just gonna give this guy a call because
if Dylan,
it's come out of nowhere.
USC, like if Malachi Nelson or Miller Moss isn't what you think, like you ring the
I
guys.
don't know. Lincoln Riley, to keep his job, man, he has to get one of these 5 stars to a net. Like you can't.
Yeah, I mean, and the crazy thing is, I go and look at this kid's recruiting profile, and I watch his huddle tape. I'm like, how did this guy only have offers? I'll read the offers list out: Utah State, New Mexico, Idaho State, Hawaii, Fresno, Cal, and Arizona. I mean, there was other teams that had interest on here, like teams like Miami, Maryland, Kansas State.
The only realistic solution or realistic answer to that is what happens to a lot of kids is maybe I'll throw this one out there too is grades, but besides that,
he had a 4.17 GPA.
Okay, so screw that. This is it. This is it right here. You're a late bloomer, right? Like you grow late.
But
you emerge late. You start, putting
turn on the high school tape.
Where do you go to high school?
He went.
What state did you play in high
California.
School? That's it. It is so easy to get lost in the mix in that state. I get it. Everyone goes and looks there, and they say, "Oh, we will find him," and they did. Arizona found him, and now he's getting his chance, right?
And I mean, he was still a 3-star. He was still a 3-star recruit on 24/7 with an 87 grade. Like,
right?
It's not like he's trash.
No. But, dude, imagine he played in the state of Michigan.
And the problem is that it's a size. I honestly think it was a size coming out of high school. His recruiting profile. Let me find it.
Yeah, how big was he listed in high school?
I think it was 5'10", 170. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't even know he was that small in height. Yeah, dude, that's it right there. You are literally not big enough.
But if you can play the damn game of football, you can play the damn game of football.
No. It's a brand thing, dude. You want to get your guys to the NFL. You recruit a guy for
dude. If he keeps playing like this for the rest of
how big is he right now? He's not 6 foot.
Doesn't matter. Neither was Kyler. Neither was Kyler. Neither was Bryce Young. Like, and I'm not saying.
What is Bryce Young doing? What we're talking NFL landscape now.
Yeah.
We're talking college. What has Kyler done? What has Bryce Young done?
I'm just saying. Kyler's been to the playoffs. Kyler's been to the playoffs, and Bryce Young. You're telling me that
I'm not saying he's going to be bad. I'm just saying that
okay, but Carolina,
CJ Stroud's not playing with much more. Who's he got? Tank Dell?
Yeah, and Tank Dell's been hurt, but
their coaching over there is so great, right? Their defense is so good. CJ's good, bro.
I mean, he's big. I'm just saying, you
can see over the line of scrimmage.
Bryce Young's trying out there, man. It's hard. It's
Dude,
hard.
Bro, I would suck.
Frank Wright, is also. I don't think he's a very good coach for Carolina either. But
it's Bryce Young will be okay. I'm just saying, it's tough. It's tough to be small and be great in this league.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely understand your point.
Now, will he get there? Will Fafita get there?
Probably. Hell yeah, he should. If he it's not like he's
got to get out though,
and it's not even that he's playing like this consistently too. It's not just a one game, unless it's like a insanity run. Unless it is, but I don't think.
What a pull, man! It's such a great nostalgic. Great pull.
I love dude. I go back and watch it every
all the time, man. It's such a great nostalgia run right there.
Yeah, but no, I seriously think Fafita's legit, and you don't freaking beat a team Washington 44-6 throwing 300 yards.
Do you agree though that to be that high caliber NFL player and to be drafted and give yourself the best opportunity to not only succeed but to just get drafted at a high draft slot is to get out of Arizona? And
Yeah,
in my
that's
opinion,
that's
it's
what I'm
yes.
saying. Like, if he thinks like he is the shit and he
Bet
can
on
get,
yourself, dude.
yeah, bet on yourself. Leave there. Come to Michigan State with Urban comes. Like, dude.
Okay. Okay.
No, but
Let's
like,
talk about Michigan State quarterbacks in the NFL. Kirk Cousins, you don't get to be a part of this conversation. Anyways,
they got Drew Stanton there. Come on, they got
yeah.
Connor
Great
Cook.
backup. Where's that kid play? Okay.
I think
Anyways, in
he
my
got that.
opinion,
He
this
got
is
that.
why. This is why you got to get out of Arizona because the product that Zach Wilson has put out, the product that Trey Lance has put out, the product that low, even Carson. I won't use Carson Wentz because that's a whole different scenario.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
those
like,
two guys right there, the most recent guys, they're coming out of very small schools. Okay,
right.
and it's like if those guys would have went and played the caliber of teams, not played for the caliber
Put
of
on
teams of.
display of their talents against those caliber of teams. I get what you're getting at.
Yeah, like if they would have gone onto those teams, those schools, do we finally see what we're seeing in the NFL? I
Right.
think so. And that's the question mark you don't want to leave scouts because now it's so relevant in their brain.
Right. But I mean, he's performed against good teams though. Like you
He
can't say
has
that.
performed against good teams, but so did Zach Wilson, not Trey Lance, but Zach Wilson performed against pretty good teams, good enough teams on big enough stages. He did not freaking the caliber. But think about this: what defense has Fafita gone against that's been like, oh my gosh, like,
Yeah, no, I
not
understand that perspective, but I'm saying like in terms of like he's got to go out there and go back out after that team
yeah,
scores and like
right.
like
And here's the thing though that transferring also brings that I'm really trying to emulate and just get the point across about is when you go to Alabama, when you go to Georgia, even just any SEC schools that have produced big quarterbacks, now you have the expectation put on you. Like, okay, you're given this role now. Like, this is what a Alabama quarterback has done in the past 10 years. This is what an LSU quarterback, like when you have those expectations rising on you and like he doesn't have any pressure on him at Arizona, dude, go out and ball. Like go out and be the underdog. You beat the big dog. Now, when you are the big dog and all the expectation on you, that's when the pressure, that's when they need that. That's what NFL scouts want to see because when you step into a franchise, man, and you're like, okay, you're taking over for so-and-so. We need you to be the guy. We need you to win and have the expectation of winning. Will they fold under it or will they succeed under it? That's what Fafita will get. That's what NFL scouts will want to see when he transfers to a big school.
Yeah, I get that, but I mean, like Jane Delore is a good, like relatively good quarterback, and I mean he's just been outplaying them so far. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe he should go to Utah.
I think Fafita is going to transfer though. Like I genuinely think we see a kid like this all the time in sports where he was under recruited, undersized. Now he's in the spotlight, and then he's like, "All right, let me take my talents. Let me go bet on myself. Betting on yourself is such."
South Beach.
I'm taking my talents to South, bro. But seriously,
I mean, we might
see
see
it all the
that.
time. Right? We see it all the time. Like this narrative always gets played out, and it's very successful, and so it's super exciting to think that Fafita is the next kid that's going to emerge out of the woodworks and out of nowhere, right?
I mean, he might go to SC, bro. He's from Anaheim, so
dude, that would be so cool.
It really would be.
Oregon may be more realistic.
Who is your under the radar team?
Yeah, so besides Arizona, how do I even attack this conversation? Because in my opinion,
okay, so like national spotlight, who's not getting it, or is it someone's record that they haven't been? They're playing better.
Yeah. So my team might be, and this is gonna sound like, and we've touched on it. So like, if you're just listening to the Engage podcast,
I'm talking about in a national perspective. Like,
yeah. So then I think ever since the loss of Riley Leonard and the loss of just when they lost to Notre Dame, I don't think I think Riley Leonard gets talked about enough. But Duke football as a whole, man, when has this team ever been in the conversation of elite football programs? And it's not like Riley Leonard's a great piece to it, but we're covering the fact that their defense is super good. ESPN's not covering it. Fox isn't covering it. Nobody's going out of their way on a broadcast to talk about it, but they deserve it.
Yeah.
Duke has really, really elite talent on their team. Like, there's guys on that team, on that defense specifically, that are going to play in the NFL and probably make a big impact on rosters.
Yeah.
Like, this is a good football team outside of Riley Leonard. Yes. Does Riley Leonard deserve credit?
Oh yeah, no,
Of course.
he's
You are
still
the
the best.
face.
He's still the most impactful player if he plays.
Absolutely. But talk about everyone else now because they're still holding their own.
Yeah.
They hung with a Notre Dame team that just beat the rails off a top 10 college football team on a huge stage.
Yeah.
Talk
NC State's not a bad team.
Like, no. NC State, you can go down the ACC, to be honest with you, and talk about a couple other teams. Like, let's just pull the list of the ACC. I mean, like, yeah, you can't talk about Virginia Tech, but, like, does Syracuse get enough coverage? I don't think so. Does Georgia Tech, like, weirdly enough, like, they're such a weird team, but
yeah, and I mean, Duke's got their two of their three toughest games remaining on their schedule coming this week and next week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got at Florida State and at Louisville. Like, are they going to win those games without Leonard if he doesn't come back? Probably not, but you never know, man. Like, a really good defense could take you a long way. Just look at freaking Utah. Yes, you're probably going to lose a couple of games, but, man, it's also going to keep you in a lot of games that, you know, if your defense doesn't play its ass off, you probably aren't in those games.
And then I think the last team to put under that category of under-the-radar teams is Kansas State.
Yeah.
4-2. Yeah, Will Howard just playing his absolute out of his
And you
mind.
could say Oklahoma State too, man. They've been playing really good recently.
Dude, shout out to Alan Bowman, dude. You were a fifth-string quarterback, and you threw for 300 yards in a big freaking game. Got your team to win. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to Oklahoma State.
Oh my God. Okay. I told you I was going to talk about this earlier. I can't believe
yes. Let this kid. Here's the mic, buddy.
Seriously, what the fuck is the NCAA? Like, I don't mean to get vulgar here, but seriously, what is this fucking rule that is put into place with James Madison not going to be able to make a bowl game because they play to a higher level of competition? Like, you're penalizing a team from moving up and going to play at a higher level and in a higher standard
and dominating.
Yeah, and
this team has 70 votes to be in the top 25, and nobody's going to put them there.
Like, the college football playoff committee should be considering this team. And yes, obviously they're not going to make the college football playoff even if they had the opportunity to, because after what happened with Cincinnati, I don't think they'll ever put a group of 5 team
will get a chance.
I mean, in the 12 team, yeah, they will, but not in this current format of the college football playoff. But besides the point, like, seriously, like, you're telling me you'd rather watch a 6-6. Let me just think of a random team, like a 6-6, like Wake Forest or like whoever, like a 6-6 Houston, like, play over this James Madison team that deserves to be in a game like that, and, you know, get on big time streaming networks like an ESPN, like a Fox, like whatever. Like, it just
a James Madison team that's good, but also that has such a loyal fan base, bro. This is such a great story about climbing up the competition and not only doing that, but dominating it.
You're telling me you want to see a team like Colorado State or San Jose State play over at James Madison? Like, no, you don't. You're not going to watch those bowl games. But you're probably not okay. And the average college football fan, like, they're probably not going to watch James Madison play against them anyway.
If you are that fan and you were listening, please watch them play. They are so entertaining.
Yeah. It's
good football.
And the Sun Belt's a fun league. Like, if you're gonna watch if you're gonna watch a group of 5 league, watch the MAC and watch the Fun Belt. Like, two very good leagues.
Watch Daquan Finn just
watch Ohio, even though they just fucking played terrible against Northern Illinois. But, you know, that's just the story of the MAC.
That's the MAC. Maction, baby.
All right, back to this topic. What other QBs do you think might be looking to say to the administration and the coaching staff, like, yeah, I'm putting in my 2 weeks and going somewhere else?
Cade Klubnik, Dante Moore. Dante Moore, for the reason that I think he's just a guy that in his recruiting process was kind of bouncing around. He went to Oregon, and then it was, I'm decommitting, and then all of a sudden he's in UCLA. He even talked about going to Michigan State at one point. There was even rumors that he was committed to Michigan, and then there was a whole recruiting crisis between him and Matt Weiss. But the point is that I don't think this kid has the loyalty, and that is a guy that's that stereotype, which I don't think is, not a unfair thing to put on him. He might transfer. If UCLA doesn't finish this thing out well, and he just doesn't feel like he's fitting in the system, I think he goes. And Klubnik, is a kid I really think is going to transfer, and there's two reasons why. One, Clemson's a dumpster fire, like dumpster fire. Who
Yeah, I
wants
mean
to
it's the
come there?
worst.
They're not going
It's
to
been it's
bring
been the
the
worst it's been in like what 10 years.
well,
Like
yes, easily. And two, he now gets to watch a guy who he learned under in DJ Uyunglele go to Oregon State and succeed. That right there is very eye-opening to a kid who has so much aspiration.
he's from Texas. Like it's
Exactly.
not like
Exactly.
it's not like the recruiters that were recruiting him all throughout his high school career don't remember him, and like they see the highs at Clemson, and like they're seeing what's
Yes.
happening with DJ too. So who knows? Obviously, who knows where he goes? Like college football is going to be way different in the transfer portal, and I mean, there's going to be other guys
I
leaving
mean, dude,
too.
once the book is closed and there's 0 seconds on the national championship clock of this year's season.
It even starts before then, technically.
Technically, but what I'm
Yeah.
getting to is once this book is closed in the 2023 season, dude, this whole image, this whole dynamic of college football is going to be completely changed.
Yeah.
Everything about
Yeah.
it. And I'm so excited for
A guy that I think, and I don't mean to cut you off, but a guy that I think that seriously should be considering the transfer is Caden Salter of Liberty. He's played very well so far, averaging over 10 yards per attempt, 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And yes, you look at the completion percentage and you're like, yeah, that's a little scary. But Liberty's 6-0. He's playing at Liberty. He's 6-0. And like, yeah, maybe you don't want to leave Jamie Chadwell's system because we've seen a guy like Grayson McCall really succeed in there. And we're seeing another kid as well who's winning ball games with, I mean, yes, it's group of 5, talent, but still, like he's winning the games that are in front of him and he's doing it in every sort of fashion and playing at a pretty.
To that notion of betting on yourself, man.
Yeah.
Same with Fafita, same situation. Honestly, a little more reason to bet on yourself. If Fafita's playing Power 5 football.
I mean, when you see him, if you see him transfer to a Power 5 team and you're like, oh, who is this guy? And then when he hopefully shows out in front of you, like
it's right here.
Don't be surprised.
AJ podcast, you heard it first.
Yeah. Other than that, I mean, not anyone of importance necessarily. Like, there's definitely going to be.
Now, is there going to be that name that just is like, what? Like, there's could be. Absolutely. The transfer portal, it's a whole other season, man. It's like, it's so fun watching it. It's so fun to cover.
It became NBA and NFL free agency, man.
Right. Yeah. Another name I'll throw out there is Alex Orji. If Alex Orji isn't in consideration or in the running for this Michigan job next year, then yeah, I see this kid uber duper talented.
Yeah,
he's gonna do one of two things, man. He's gonna flip positions, or he's gonna be in the portal and wanting to take his talents somewhere and follow in the footsteps of Joe Milton.
You know what? Now that I bring it up, if Penn State does not succeed. We looking at
if they lose to both Michigan and Ohio State.
Are we looking at Drew Aller potentially? This is just all theoreticals. Like, I don't see it, but there is a world for it, and there's always a world for it. Do we see a guy like Drew Aller transfer and maybe go somewhere else?
Possibly. If a big job is open, yes, I do. I really actually do, because I don't think this Penn State team is recruiting at a high enough level to sustain the hype that they're getting. So if they can't live up to the hype this year, which would ultimately boost recruiting, this is like 2021 for Michigan, right? This is the year that you're like, okay, there's the hype. You're sitting around the top. You're sitting around the college football playoff conversation. You're in the talks that you could beat the 2 big dogs of the conference. You don't do it, you're not going to boost recruiting, which ultimately doesn't allow you to be sustainable, and that's when guys start leaving. The last guy is still in the Big Ten, and we talked about it off air, and we're going to bring it up right now. Devin Brown. I think this kid might be one of the most surefire transfers.
And we even said something. We hinted at it a little bit earlier when we were talking about the red zone offense, and we think Ohio State would be better with him on the field being the starter. Yeah, that's definitely because McCord's not going to the NFL. Like, not this year.
Oh yeah, I forget he's like a junior, dude. He's not. And Devin Brown actually has so much leverage because he has great highlights in the spring game, but also he just is like, he's unproved, and that is actually a good thing in terms of the transfer portal, because there's nothing bad to say. And what does he do in high school? Unbelievable things.
Yeah,
and
Devin Brown like showed some crazy arm in high school. Like
Yeah, dude, this kid flew up the rankings so fast, man. And then when he got to the Elite 11, he proved himself even more.
Yeah.
This is a kid that's got that, but he reminds me a little bit of like Quinn Ewers, like in terms of his style of play too. But
yeah, and look how like successful Quinn Ewers when he left.
right, he
And
got his truck and he got his money. He's like, peace out. Devin Brown, dude, transfers. This kid is going to take an SEC job.
Wouldn't it be crazy if the quarterbacks behind Stroud are better than the guy that they put out there, and they're just perform like? Wouldn't it be hilarious?
Wait, you mean
like
McCord?
I'm talking about yeah, McCord starting, and then Brown and Ewers both lead, and they're both way more successful than McCord. I don't know, man.
I think the problem with Ohio State is that they actually don't always play the best guy in situations. Like in my opinion, Brandon Inniss and Carnell Tate deserve way more play time than they're actually getting.
Yeah, no, Carnell Tate, like watching him play against Purdue, I was like, oh, and then
this kid's so good, and he's just not getting the reps he deserves.
Like he's baby Terry McLaurin out there when I watch him play.
Dude, yeah, he really is. But that's a thing that, like, I'm sorry, dude. You want to win your guys over? Like, look at Harbaugh, dude. Harbaugh, when he put JJ in and said, "Here, JJ, like, yes, Kate, you won the Big Ten championship. You saved my career. Now but JJ, you're better." Like that type of stuff, man. Allowing the freshman receivers to play, and look at how much those guys trust him, because he literally can now look recruits in the eyes honestly and say, I don't care if you're a freshman or you're a senior. If you're the best player at your position, you're the best player in the field, you will play. And I don't think a lot of other schools can say that.
Yeah.
So,
what
are you doing? Where are you at?
I love these guys.
Toughness. You're not tough.
We love
You're gonna see it. You're gonna see it.
We love making little parodies of everyone.
Hey, they just toss it up to us, man. We're just hitting the ball out of the park. We're just taking what the defense is giving us.
Dead center. All right. Any other thoughts across the board? This has been a really long episode that I did not anticipate.
There's a lot to cover, man.
Yeah, we're
getting to that point of the season.
Yeah, I mean, we're literally like middle through the season. Like it's week 7. And
transfer portal's relevant now. Yeah. The football playoffs relevant, so it's not like it's irrelevant content, man.
Yeah. So no, I got nothing else to say.
I got nothing. Man.
All right,
we covered a lot.
Thank you for listening. If you made it this far, congratulations.
Props to you.
If you stopped midway through and on your commute to work and you came back, or commute to school or whatever, like we still appreciate you. All the love that we get and all the support that we get, we really appreciate. Make sure to follow the Engage A Twitter, Engage A X, and then the Engage A TikTok, Engage A Instagram, and then also follow me and Robby on our personal socials as well. Thank you for listening to the Engage A podcast, and enjoy whatever you are doing, whether you're listening to this at 3 o'clock in the morning or 12 o'clock in the afternoon.
Peace out.